Hey eBay sellers, it's Cynthia, and I'm back with my weekly check-in on my eBay experiment store. I had a couple of good days and some quiet days, and all in all did pretty well because of a couple of big items that sold for full price that I was really excited about. So let's just jump right in. So for those of you who might be new, this is my experiment store, meaning it is all clothing. I've been selling on eBay for a really long time, but selling primarily pop culture things like TV and movie memorabilia, some vintage items. I don't generally sell regular clothing, and I decided to give it a try. As I go to a lot of estate sales, and I do have access to quite a bit of high-end clothing at low prices. Now, what I ran into this week was something a little bit, well, maybe not different if you've been listening to it. Once I decided to start doing this store, I've been buying, concentrating more on picking up larger number of items at estate sales because they're so cheap, cheaper than I can get them at um, Goodwill or thrift shops in general. I'm paying $1 or less per item. And often they're really good items because of the area that I live in. However, oh, excuse me, this getting dark early thing is killing me. It feels like it's the middle of the night. It's only 5 o'clock. It is, however, really nice segueing. My neighbors across the street have snowflake lights hanging from their garage, and I can see them right out my window when I'm at my computer, and it's quite beautiful. Our whole street's quite lovely, but I love the snowflake lights. Anyway, sorry, back to the deal. So, because I've kind of been more invested in this idea, I've been a little less careful about what I've been buying, figuring that if I buy a lot of items, I get a better deal. And I was at an estate sale this week that had a lot of Hawaiian shirts, not the top names like Ren Spooners, but Hawaiian shirts, and I'm figuring if I'm getting them for $1, why not? So again, it was a lot of men's clothing, a few pieces of women's clothing, and mostly older styles. Again, not so much trendy because these are mostly older people's homes that I'm buying from. And the fact that, so I'm not getting trendy styles. On the men's clothes, it doesn't seem to make that much of a difference, but on the women's, it does. Anyway, sorry, I've said all this before. What happened again this time was I paid $60 and got 2 big bags of clothes and a bunch of other items. And I was initially really excited because I found a members only jacket and a few other things and said all these Hawaiian shirts. But when I got them home and started going through, I found that quite a bit of them had marks or stains on them that are not going to come out. And I did have to throw away the pieces. We did wash some and they did clean up fine, but I started to think, I'm spending a lot of time washing and cleaning clothes that I'm selling for not that much money. So I don't know. Well, we'll talk about that at the end here. So anyway, here we are. Sales for the past month, $323. Now again, reminding you that this is my alternate store, and you can see I only have 18 items listed. I think at a max I had 27 at one point. So I've always been under 100 items. I don't pay for a store. I'm on an eBay freebie account and staying way under the limits on the store. And then if you look at the sales graph here, you can see that on December 2nd, I had a great day, $54, almost $55, 18 the day before, and 46 after that. And then this is today. I had a little $10 sale that's not paid yet. I kind of wish eBay wouldn't count it as a sale until it's actually paid, because I see that, and then like if he pays me tomorrow, I go, oh, I got $10, but no, actually it was already accounted for. So let's see what sold. This is something I honestly thought would never go. This is the Paragraph men's wool plaid vest. It was a beautiful vest. It's not why I didn't think it would go. It just seems like people, the brand wasn't that big a brand, and I don't know, it just didn't seem like it'd be that great an item. But I took an offer on it for $10.99. I think I only had it at about 12 plus shipping. So the person gave me a very reasonable offer, and that went out the door. Here's what's funny too. This one, the sold fors aren't always correct. I know I didn't sell these for $29.99. That's what I wanted to sell them for, and I think I sold them for $24. But it's very funny how sometimes they buy it now. I mean, the offers show, and sometimes they don't. I don't get it. These are really cool Dr. Scholl's wooden platform shoes. They're made in Italy. The person doesn't know it, but they actually got them from someone somewhat famous. These came from a television writer whose home I was at an estate sale. I thought they were really great. I think they probably, I could have held out for more money if it wasn't the middle of winter. It's quite cold even here in California. But I was happy to see them go to a good home because they were fun shoes. And I generally do not sell shoes. I just feel like they're too much trouble with fit and all of that. But they went to a good home. This was one of my best for the week. I think I showed these to you. I think I had just listed these the last time we updated. This was a pair of Nick and Nora Je t'aime bien, the Je t'aime macarons pajamas. I love macarons. This is one of the more popular styles of the Nick and Nora pajamas, but as I've told you many times, you can hardly go wrong with Nick and Nora. If you find them and they're in good shape, if they're not in good shape, like the fabric is really pilling, you can still buy them. Just make sure people know. I've had one person in the past say that they were more worn than they were happy about, but almost everybody else has been fine. They're very expensive pajamas and they're limited. The styles were very limited. So in a like you couldn't they weren't available for a long time. So people are willing to pay up for these if they're really attached to the Nick and Noras. Very nice, high quality, great pajamas. So these did sell for $33.99. And I think that's my second Nick and Nora sale since I opened this store. This was a full set, top and bottom. And I think last time we talked, I was debating actually taking these and selling them individually because I think that people like to buy the Nick and Nora separately because they're different size on top than on the bottom. But before I ever got a chance to think about that, they sold for $33.99. So, and shipping was included, but again, it was like $4 to ship. This was a really funny one, and this kind of speaks to what my whole concept was about this um, experiment store. This is a Bruno, that's the brand, suede microfiber Hawaiian shirt. The fabric has this silky but yet textured, almost like suede material to it, and the images are embroidered on here. Look at these. They were adorable. Music notes, hula girls. When I found this shirt, I thought it was going to sell for a ton of money. I think I paid up for it there's a little charity shop that we go to now and then that has very high-end clothing. Um, so it costs a little more to buy from them, but they have some really fun stuff. And this was one of their shirts. And when I say pay up, it means I probably paid five. I would not have paid more than $7 for it. I maybe paid five. But I bought this thing, I'd say more than a year ago. And it's been on our regular pop culture store because we do sell a lot of Hawaiian shirts on that store. We sell a lot of collectible black and clothing from Hawaii and California. Um, Nothing. This would not move. I raised the price, lowered the price, changed the price, changed everything. I did everything I could. This thing would not sell. I finally took it down about a week ago and I relisted it on this experiment clothing only store. And within a week, it sold for $17.99. Now, that's not the money I was hoping to get on this shirt. I think the shirt was worth a lot more money than that because I still had to pay shipping out of that. And when you take out what I paid on it, but it's so funny that at $17.99, I think I even tried it on auction on our other store, $17.99, and nobody wanted it until I put it in a clothing only store, and then it sold right away. This was kind of an interesting buy too, and I know I didn't get $19.95 for this. This is a Ford Cares Warriors in Pink breast cancer scarf. They make one of these every year, and I just realized, gee, I might have sold it faster if I had spelled scarf correctly. It's so weird. There's no spell check in the titles of eBay. I have it in the description box, but not in the titles. Um, so luckily someone looked at Ford Cares or something. This was part of a large lot of scarves that I got. There were so many scarves in the lot that I actually got to a point where I gave up and redonated back a bunch of them because I just got tired of listing scarves. So yeah, I want to say this went in the $12 range. Um, which again is still great. I probably paid less than $1 for it. It's hard to say again because I bought a large lot of scarves. It really was a very pretty scarf, especially if you're into pink or if you're a supporter of the breast cancer causes. Excellent, beautiful scarf. So that went to a good home. These next two items went to the same person. So I did take an offer. Again, I know this didn't sell for $19.99. I think it went for closer to 14, maybe even down as low as 12. I probably wouldn't have gone lower than 12. And I did go lower because the person also bought a shirt and I knew I could ship them together. The funny thing about this one is this laid around and didn't get listed for a while because once again, it's not It was not a good name. I was surprised. It's a beautiful hat, but there were other Borsalini hats up, and none of them were selling. So I thought, oh, this thing's just going to sit and sit and sit. And it's funny because my husband buys newsboy caps like this a lot, and he actually liked this one, but this one didn't fit him. Um, so at the last minute, I was just sort of cleaning out a pile, and I thought, oh, just let me list this hat and get it up. And it sold almost right away, like I'd say within a week of having put it up, it sold for 14 some. Good vintage hat. I thought it was great. I hope the man who bought it really enjoys it. Um, this is what he got with. Now, those pictures do not do it justice. My photography on this site, I've paid less attention to the photography over here. You'll see a lot of pictures that aren't that great, but that was sort of part of the experiment too. I wanted to see if I just really ran this as just like a quick in and out store, because you can see this shirt's terribly wrinkled. On our main store, we try to be a little more careful with the wrinkles and with the lighting and the everything. But because like I said, I'm just trying some things over here. So I picked this one up at our local charity store, church store, we call it. I probably paid $3 to $5 for it. I paid up a little bit because of the True Grit brand. It's a beautiful corduroy shirt, heavy, heavy shirt with gorgeous pearl buttons. I just thought it was a super shirt, and for the price, I could not leave it behind at the store. It sold, again, I didn't get the full 34. I want to say I got about 24, which is still excellent because it went with the hat. So they went together to someone. I hope that made them very happy because I really like these two items. And yeah, I'm glad to see them go to a good home. The last item that sold, I know, can you believe how many items sold? Sorry, I'm having issues here. There we go. This is the last item. This sold actually just today. This was a Lacoste, which I think is how you say it. Just, plain plaid button-up shirt. It's got the little alligator on it. And then here's the tag on this one. This is called the Best Lacoste. I also got another one that said that was in French, something Lacoste, like course, I can't remember, Coursera. You'll see it in a minute. I got both shirts from an estate sale that I got very little at last week, except for video games. And I think I might have actually shown this one to you if I had a haul video up um, last week sometime, and I might have shown these. So again, this flipped really fast, not just from when I bought it, but when I listed it. I listed it this morning. It sold this afternoon. I did let it go for less than 14. I think I let it go for 10 or 12. Um, Less than I probably would have, considering I just put it up, but I'll tell you why in a second. I also, as you can see from the lighting here, I tried this morning, because it gets dark so fast, to start photographing first thing in the morning so I can catch some of that morning light and not get so much dark shadows on my images. But it's tricky to do. It's not really like where my brain is first thing in the morning. But I don't know, worked in this case. He really liked this shirt. There he is. So those are the sales for the week. Let me go out of here and show you what I've listed. No, I don't want to do it that way. Sorry, hang on a second. It's so funny how the store is different than, this account is different than the one our regular one, the way it lays out, because we have a store on the other one. Newly listed. Okay. So I do have, oh, I'm so dumb. I told you I had 18 items listed before. That's my feedback. I have 45 items listed, so I'm actually really close to hitting 50 items. And I really worked at it much more in the last couple days than I had in the week earlier. And we did have that real lull. I had a lot of sales and I had a lull. So I drafted a bunch of things the last couple days, and then this morning I photographed the blue shirt that you just sold, and then here's the other one I was talking about is chemise Lacoste polo. I got both of those at the same time. Nice polo shirt. This is one of the few women's pieces that's on here. This is a Chaps Active zebra stripe hooded knit top. It's real good for this time of the year. It's not real heavy. It's cute. It's Chaps, which is a good brand. I'm probably not going to get $19.99, but with free shipping, I'm starting that high. I'm probably going to end up going later low. I would imagine it's probably better priced in the $12.99 range, which I would be perfectly happy with as well. This is a flip box men's short sleeve Hawaiian style shirt. I've never heard of flip box before. This material is this very strange, slick polyester material. It but it holds color like crazy. The color is gorgeous. So material is kind of iffy if you like sort of a satiny, slick material. Otherwise, yeah. Um, this is Gordon Clothing Company. I had two of these shirts. They photographed very badly, as you can see. I photographed during the night, very dark. This is a cream color with a palm tree very lightly, like sort of embossed into the shirt. There's another one. This one is a green with the same palm tree print. I priced them at $17.99. They're very nice, very heavy, well-made shirts, but the brand does not seem to be that popular, which is a shame because it's a quality shirt. So somebody who does buy it is going to get themselves a very nice shirt. This is Canyon Guide Outfitters. I bought this because it was a Western shirt with pearl buttons. Pearl button shirts, Western, this detailing on the shoulders, Western shirt. The pearl buttons are almost always great sellers. Pearl snaps, I mean, sorry. Um, so if you find shirts with pearl snaps, you know, in their good shape, grab them up. They do quite well. So I started this one up at $19.99. The brand itself isn't that well known. There are a few of these on eBay in different colors. This is a nice color pattern, so we'll see. And it's a good 2X. That's the other thing. Nice size. This is an XL too, but it's really roomy. And I think that one's an XL. Yeah, I got these from XLs and 2Xs. This is actually from an older estate sale that I got some weeks back, but there was a stain on it, but it washed out beautifully. This is a vintage Wilson University collection pullover. It's a nice patch on here. It's very 80s looking, although it may actually be from the 90s, but it's still got that 80s kind of feel. Uh, nice and warm. It's, you know, it's been worn. It's been a little bit loved. It's not in bad shape, but it's definitely not new off the rack. Um, I think I'm going to be lucky to get $19.99. I'm probably going to get a little less. It is a heavier sweatshirt, so it's probably going to cost $8 to ship it. This one, I think these are all still new ones. This is a Philippines, I don't know how to say it, so excuse me if I'm saying it wrong, barong, if I'm wrong on the barong, embroidered dress shirt. It's like a pale blue, which it doesn't look like in the pictures, and this embroidery down the sides is actually like you can kind of see through, you can almost see through the shirt. But that's all like beautiful embroidered panels down the side. It's a very nice dress shirt for people who have grown up with that type of shirt. I guess it's very popular and made in the Philippines. Here's the other Gordon clothing. Another one of the unusual women's ones. This is a little mint green pullover, um, lace trim. It's a petite. I have another petite that's going up, which will kind of help. I'll have a few more. I have a few more women's animal print items that are going up pretty soon. It's just a nice basic. I didn't even put the brand on there because I don't think the brand was anything well known. Um, it's got like faux buttons up the front. If it fit me, I would wear it. It's cute. And the last item I think is this one. Yeah, see the date. So this is a tie with the words to Amazing Grace on it. Ties are real hit and miss for us. I buy a lot of them with characters on them and they don't do well, but then other ones sell very well. Our movie theater ticket taker always has the coolest like cartoon ties. I wish he'd buy from me. So this one is a Christian religious tie with Amazing Grace lyrics on it. Very pretty in a deep blue. Would be a super tie for, you know, someone for church. If you run a choir, a men's choir at a church, that's the tie you need. So I'm only going $9.99 with best shipping, free shipping. So if you're into that, there you go. And that's it. You know, I've got still a few things. Got a lot of ties still on this on here. I've got scarves still on here. Another Nick and Nora. This jacket I thought would be more popular. Maybe now snowboarding season's really kicking in. I'm probably gonna have to drop the price on that. And lots of scarves still here. Now, here's the thing. And this is why I said I went the other item. So even though I've made $300 on this site in a month, honestly putting in not that much effort because most of our effort's going into our main store, I did have about $50 in fees, which was surprising because that seemed kind of high. And I think it might be that I'm used to getting a fee discount with our others because I'm top rated seller in our other store. And and then I had all the shipping and everything. So I made money. There's no question I did. Especially if you don't count the full $60 I spent on clothes this week. That kind of, I think, might have thrown me into the not profit range. But up until then, I definitely was making a profit. I'm just really feeling like I don't really enjoy selling clothes. I said it there. I kind of hinted at it in earlier videos. I just find, especially with women's clothing, I feel like if you don't know all of the keywords pertaining to a style, the neckline, the type of sleeve, the type of, all these little ins and outs that define a shirt, especially if it's not a brand name, it's very hard to get eyeballs on those shirts without knowing those things. And honestly, I'm not into learning about them. You could learn about them. Definitely, there's plenty of people on eBay that will teach you about them on YouTube. But I really don't want to learn. And I still find that when I go to places where there's a lot of clothing, I'm overwhelmed by the women's sections. The men's sections, I just said it's easier for me. I look for those pearl snaps. I look for Hawaiian shirts. I look for some specifics. The trendy part of the women's buying is just really kicking my butt. And I'm finding listing them is just not that enjoyable. It's the 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 cleaning of them is becoming a bigger issue, repairs to them. I just didn't realize how much was involved in doing clothing. So, what's going to happen at this point? I'm not sure. I'm probably going to start lowering the prices on these store items and just clearing this stuff out. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to bother with this store at all, or I'm just going to go back to putting all our effort into our regular eBay store, in which case this channel will go back to being about that store, um, which is pop culture and kind of what I do best. So, yeah. So the experiment is working. I'm making money, technically, but I don't think I'm happy. And we want to be happy, don't we? So that's my thoughts for right at the moment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are you selling clothing? Are you just getting into eBaying? Um, how do you feel about selling clothing? Women's clothing, men's clothing, clothing in general. How do you feel about mixing stores? Clothing mixed in with other types of things. Does that stop you as a buyer on eBay? Like if you go and the guy sells like pottery and kitchenware, but then he has a section full of women's tops. Is that weird? I don't know. But that's the question. So who knows what next week's update will bring. I will try to be back with something. I am going, after I decide I don't want to do clothes, I am going to my favorite further away thrift store where I get clothes for a really great price, but I can also pick up lots of t-shirts and things that I really love. So I will definitely have a haul video for you after the weekend. That's it. Calling it quits. See you guys later. Have a great night.